We bought him for the development squad, Dave.
Oh, is that
He's
all?
under 23s. Yeah.
Right.
You must have thought you were dreaming.
I did.
Wish I was.
I didn't see it on card, Dave. What number is it? What number you got to?
Where's he gone?
Paul, I think we need to explain to you, Paul. It was
Pardon?
a picture. It was
it
a
was a
picture of
picture.
Lionel Messi holding up a Wednesday scarf.
Right.
The Wednesday shirt.
He's got a Wednesday shirt on as well.
What number's that, Dave?
It'll be for his stairs, won't it? 45.
He's on bench this weekend.
Yeah.
He's not
Can't
good
get
enough.
inside now. We're winning.
Blades won again.
Yeah.
They win every 6 months.
Yeah, did you hear that Leeds have appealed against the result? Against Crawley?
They've appealed against the result.
Yeah, because one of Crawley's plumbers in midfield weren't Corgi registered. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, John.
That's a courtesy of Claire, that one.
That's best result of the round, that one.
Oh, definitely.
Even better
Best
than
result
Wednesday
since Colchester
United's
beat 'em.
result.
Well, it should have been more. They could have had more.
Yeah.
Crawley could have had 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Aye. So anyway, here we are. Here we all are again. So
Not quite. We've lost Chris.
all right.
Disappeared.
We've lost Chris and we haven't got Lowell yet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Lowell's down at
Down there.
bottom.
Ah,
Where
there
he
he is.
belongs.
I ain't got a picture of you, Lowell.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sat
You're
next to
bloody
Keith
lucky
on
not
my
I have.
screen. I'm between Keith and Keith.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yes.
I've got him under Doug and Colin.
He's
I've
right
got
at the
him under.
bottom on mine.
I've got him under John and Colin.
Yes, I've got him under John.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
have I.
I am. Yes, I am.
Anyway,
Dave the fish has swum away. Is that something to do with Brexit quota?
yeah, he got too close to John.
There he is.
Did you read about them confiscating the ham and cheese sandwiches?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was that?
A lorry driver British lorry driver going into Holland. He confiscated his ham and cheese sandwiches because we're not allowed to import dairy products.
Me too, Dave.
That's true. It's not a joke. It's true.
They
Really?
were on news last night, that, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What, like those two lasses who were in Derbyshire and they'd got a cup of Costa coffee, so police said that constituted a picnic.
Yeah. Now,
We got the money
they've
back anyway,
rescinded
they
that,
paid the
haven't
fine.
they?
Yeah, they got the money back.
They've rescinded it. Mate, it was Derbyshire police in the first lockdown who were using drones to track where people were coming from.
I was going to say,
They
Ron,
followed that couple taking
you're
a
dead
dog
right.
for a walk with a drone.
You're dead right, Ron. Almost the Derbyshire SS, wasn't it? They actually took it
Yeah.
very seriously.
That's
You
where
wouldn't
I
have done
live.
that big Paul, would you?
But
No.
can you imagine, with all the funding problems they've got, they've gone out and bought some drones to catch people out. Somebody's got it wrong there.
Bye-bye. Oh, sorry.
No, lots of common sense has gone out of it.
Drop after
Oh, hurrah!
No, that's his delayed reaction to United winning.
Have they won?
Bye.
Bye.
After something big. Second win tonight, Keith.
Let's hope so.
Second win. If you can't beat Newcastle, you can't beat anybody.
You're probably right.
Well, we
Anyway,
couldn't beat them.
shall we bat on with John's news of the group?
Aye. Started off with some bad news about Glenn and his having COVID and being hospitalised and on oxygen. The latest news is he appears to be slowly recovering. I've not seen any news this morning or had a response from Sandra, but yeah, Glenn admitted to hospital. Sandra fell and broke her wrist, so they had a great week. But fortunately, Glenn appears to be getting slowly better.
Oh, good.
The opposite with Eric and Pat, unfortunately. Pat isn't very well at all. Eric's missus with the cancer, but she's battling on and she's in great good humour. She's handling herself well, handling it well. She's doing well, but it's sort of prayers go out to Eric and Pat. They're having a rough time at the moment. Little Dave has got a new phone, and he did get a new phone for Christmas. He wondered what were in box, and it was a phone. It wasn't 2 tin cans and a length of string. And Richard has got a new tablet, but both of them are a bit nervous about entering digital world, and they're slowly building up to getting to use them and maybe getting on Zoom within the next few weeks.
How often has
I'm
Richard-
surprised at Richard.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm surprised at Richard because he's well into his photography and he's often used to being on the laptop.
Yeah.
And the
He's
computers.
going to give it a go. Anyway, sorry, Ian, what did you say?
I was just going to say something flippant like, how often does he have to take the tablet? But I think that's good by.
Yeah. The people are just generally fed up talking to Cyril and Anita. Well, Anita in particular. Cyril's really fed up just through lack of human contact. That's not that Anita is inhuman or like an android, but you know what I mean. Ed's fed up in the home because he's getting no visitors. Cyril's fed up because he's seen nobody. Old John, the worst thing that's happened to old John is that he dropped his Sky remote control and stood on it, but it's still working. So that's it. And that's about it, really. People are just generally fed up. But best wishes to Glenn and to Glenn and Sandra and Eric and Pat.
It's not just the people, John. This might make you laugh, but the dogs. The dogs. No, honest. Every half hour they come and nudge me, and it's just to get out.
You should stop lying on the floor.
Sorry.
You should stop lying on the floor.
Well, no, you joke. I do at times just to to fuss them and what have you. But they know something is different. That we're all locked down, and I've literally taken Walter Mitty or whatever his name is, the chief medical officer. Like we've all got COVID. That's the way to think about it. Yeah. But yesterday we went on a lovely long walk. When I walk the dogs, people don't talk to me. They talk to the dogs.
Yeah.
And
Good judge. Good judge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they say, "What's that drone hovering over your head for?"
Absolutely. So I drone on, as you can imagine. Anyway, there was a lady who met me in the village and said, "We're just going to walk to the village and back. We won't do a Boris." She said, "Well, why?" He said, "Well, the path that we normally walk through the deer onto another lane is just a mud patch. It's like the 60-meter jump, at Innsbruck." And he said, "Well, go a bit further in the village." I found another part of Oxford yesterday, and it's well-to-do area, lovely woods and what have you, totally sheltered, nobody knows about, so it's not so muddy. Lovely hour-and-a-half walk. Brought the dogs back, fast asleep.
You were.
Them and me, them and me. But it's affecting everybody, anybody that's still alive.
Yeah.
It's just the lockdown, isn't it? That's why
there was something on Look North last night. On Look North last night about affecting horses at a stable.
Yes.
Because they can't get exercise.
They know it, Ron. Animals know it. They've got this sense, I think,
Have they become unstable?
That man.
Oh dear.
Somebody
Computer.
Where there's Muck, there's Keith.
I just do it on the hoof,
You've upset Big Paul. He's gone to the mounted police to complain about
To get you. Rainy man.
Oh.
Oh.
Nay.
Get the bit between your teeth.
Right. Okay. So we will move on to news of the week.
That's if I've got anything to tell you.
I'm sure you'll find something.
Before we go on to sport, some breaking news coming out of France this morning. I don't know if you saw it. There's a big explosion at a cheese factory near Paris. Police have cordoned off the area, and a spokesman has said that all that was left of the factory was a load of debris.
Oh.
Very good. It don't get any better.
No, stick to the sport, mate.
Get on to the sport, lol.
The way he tells him.
The way he tells him.
That's
That's probably the worst joke I've heard since lockdown.
It's an old joke.
Well,
Yeah, but you've resurrected it. You blooming dug it up.
No, but I'm old. I don't remember what I've told people. And you are old and you've forgot what people have told you.
That's very true. That is true.
What are we talking about?
Who
I think you
knows?
better go-
I've
I think
lost
you better go
my pen
with
here.
news.
So has Mafia King been relieved then, lol?
Yep.
Very relieved.
He's
Yeah.
taking tablets with Richard.
Right. We're going to rugby league. Let's get that out of the way.
No,
Now, we've been talking a lot about concussion in the last week or two. And a former Leeds Rhinos captain, Stevie Ward, has announced his retirement at the age of 27 because of the long-term effects of concussion. Ward said he is unable to even exercise without irritating the symptoms. He missed the rest of the 2020 season after suffering a concussion in the Rhinos' opening game of the year. The club stood him down indefinitely in February, with head coach Richard Agar saying at the time it was very concerning. So, poor old lad.
Do you think that's entirely concussion, lol?
Well,
Sounds,
that's what-
sounds like he's got another malady. Every time he's training, he's got this repeated. Is it something to do with his ears and balance and that sort of stuff?
It could be an effective concussion, though, couldn't it?
Oh well, you're getting into medics there. I don't know. I'm just asking a question.
useful that he's got his head coach as well, though, isn't it?
Head coach, yes, yeah. Very good, Paul. We nearly missed it.
Probably should have done. Probably should have.
A little bit on tennis news. Now, Bob Brett, a coach to Boris Becker and Goran Ivanisevic and Marin Cilic, has died of cancer at the age of 67. The Australian helped Germany's Becker win Wimbledon, the US Open and the Australian Open between 1989 and 1991. And Brett helped Ivanisevic reach 3 Grand Slams before he opened a tennis academy in Italy in 2002. A little bit on athletics. Now, the Welsh Indoor Championships and the Welsh Cross Country Championships will not be held this year due to the COVID pandemic. Welsh Athletics, the sports governing body in Wales, normally hold the event in January or February, but have now said, as the country is in level 4 lockdown, it is not feasible for these sports to go ahead. They may reconsider later in the year. Now, athletics faces a moral dilemma. Athletes face a moral dilemma if given priority for the COVID-19 vaccine prior to this summer's Tokyo Games. Dick Pound of the International Olympic Committee has suggested all competitors should be high up on the priority list for the vaccine. Sprinter Zoe Clark, hoping to make her Olympic debut, says it will not sit right with her if athletes take precedence over vulnerable people.
Right.
Terrible,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That man's name is aptly obtained.
Yeah, Pound.
Pound.
Hmm.
I mean, and bloody Sam Allardyce also said something similar, that he reckons professional footballers ought to.
Sean Dyche said it, I think. Sean Dyche.
I mean, I'm not sure that football should be going ahead at this time. There's hundreds of footballers travelling the country twice a week.
This is why
I'm not sure it should be going ahead.
John, this is why this country is in a real mess with this pandemic. You've got Scots who've just announced they're going to go ahead with their elections in May with social distancing. Why?
Yeah, why?
You've got Steve Bruce, the manager you love to hate, saying, is it morally right to carry on with football?
Yeah.
Particularly after all the celebrations. There's a total inconsistency. Yes, sport actually uplifts people, but I think there comes a point when everybody's saying, and I'm finding generally in this country, people are making their own decisions. They've got the general idea. They either believe there's a COVID problem or there isn't. And if they believe it, they're doing what I'm doing, which is a complete lockdown. Forget the world as it used to be. And I think football needs to take a good look at itself, as all the other sports should do. Say, just are we promoting the right behaviour when we play?
I mean,
I agree.
Keith, in the news this morning that football clubs have been told that they've got to social distance more, and that includes goal celebrations.
Well, Jimmy Cranky, Jimmy Cranky, otherwise known as Nicola Sturgeon, she's had a go at all the Scottish team football.
Quite right.
Yeah.
Celtic have gone on an away trip to Dubai.
Yeah, come back with COVID.
Taking players who are injured for a training session in warm weather. I mean, it's just crazy. Did anyone see the massed ranks of the Marine supporters outside the ground before the Tottenham game?
Yeah.
Well, if that game hadn't been taking place, presumably they wouldn't have been there.
That's right. My mum.
So it's just crazy.
My mum used to live in Crosby, Chris, and it's a very tightly knit community. And just along from there, I can't remember the name, near Knowsley Safari Park. It's not Merseyside Council. It's not. It's of the Northwest. It's the one with the worst COVID record.
Really.
And you get something like it's boys' own stuff, and nice to have Tottenham come to Marine. Not today, guys.
No.
The wrong time to do it, Sefton, that's the name of the council.
Sefton Borough Council.
Yeah. The worst record of the lot.
Really?
In the Northwest, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right, okay. So
it'll stay that way.
Yeah.
It will stay that way.
Sorry.
Dave's doing a scout salute.
Dave the fish.
Did. We're talking about that. Kevin McDonald, who used to play for the Blades, now with Fulham, he said he's fed up of players being used as guinea pigs.
Yeah.
Point of view.
So they can't be comfortable with it. I'm sure they can't be.
Well, as I said, Dave, I think the majority of people, there's 66 million people in this country. About 60 million are doing their own thing. They've got the brief, they've interpreted the brief, and they're doing their own thing. Some extreme lockdown, some couldn't give a damn. These societies, these organizations that actually can influence behavior should actually be taking the lead and say, this is very, very serious. We stop now. And we come back when we're ready. Simple. And that's the best way to kill all this behavioral stuff. And then that gives the vaccine a chance to kick in, and then we can go back to normal. We're right on the edge. 2 months, very difficult, in my personal opinion. Sorry, I'm bleating on about it, but I live in a care home, and I can see the meat wagon comes every day to this home.
Yeah, but I mean, the FA itself, they've made the decision to allow football at elite level. unbelievably for me, they've also allowed one other level of football to continue. Any guesses as to what it is?
Under 18.
Women's?
No. Well, there is some women's, but no, there's a specific.
Disabled.
Disabled. Where's the logic in that to allow disabled football to continue? Just it don't make sense.
I don't know if anybody's just picked up WhatsApp, but there's a message from Sandra. Just had a call from Glenn. His voice sounded a bit stronger and more positive, asking me questions about treatment. But after a minute, the strength in his voice goes, and he wants to say goodbye. Bless him, and I understand that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that'll be on your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanks for that, Ron. That's how I feel after these meetings. Yeah.
So I feel after news.
Right, crack on then.
We're going to crack on. Right, on to horse racing. Now, organisers of the Cheltenham Festival are prepared for this year's event to be held with a limited attendance. No spectators are currently permitted at British racecourses because of the restrictions. The Jockey Club said it was likely only small numbers of people will be present at this year's event.
Shouldn't be any.
It's set to be held on between the 16th and 19th of March. Last
No
year,
chance.
They started it last year.
No chance.
Well, last year, 150,000 attended the festival in March, which ended just before the first lockdown measures began in England. And more on horse racing. Now, favourite, Secret Reprieve, won last Saturday's rearranged 2020 Welsh Grand National at Chepstow. The 5-2 shot, ridden by Adam Wedge, gave Welsh trainer Evan Williams his first ever win in the race, after being a runner-up, a third, and twice coming fourth. It also claimed a second successive victory for Wales, after Christian Williams's Potter's Corner ended a 54-year wait for a home winner in 2019. Two Amigos came second, and Yala Enki came third. Right, a little bit on Formula One, and I've had to alter that today. The season opening Grand Prix in Australia has been postponed because of the COVID restrictions in Australia. It was due to have taken place in Melbourne from the 19th to the 21st of March, but the Australian Grand Prix Corporation, the Australian government and the Formula One bosses have been in talks over the Albert Road track and decided it could not go ahead. Also, the Chinese Grand Prix has been postponed, so the first one this season will be in Bahrain at the end of March.
So,
On Keith?
I just said also.
It's been on darts. The former world champion.
Not sport.
Just a bit to follow on with that.
Not
sport. If you're a Formula One fan, I wouldn't bet on the Bahrain Grand Prix. My brother-in-law lives in Bahrain, and the cases are starting to rise again.
That's
so I wouldn't bet on Bahrain going ahead either.
Right.
No, they went to Dubai.
That's right, yeah. Just
Dubai's been taken off the holiday corridor now as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
anyway, a little bit in darts, although Chris doesn't agree with it. The former world champion, Scott Mitchell, has described the collapse of the British Darts organisation as devastating for the players. The BDO went into liquidation last year after a failed decision to move its World Championship from the Lakeside Country Club to the O2 Arena in London. This year, there will be no BDO World Championship taking place for the first time since 1977. It's really sad, said Mitchell, who won the tournament in 2015. A little bit on snooker. Now, world number one Judd Trump and Jack Lisowski were both tested positive for coronavirus and they missed the Masters. Both players were tested last Friday as part of the strict protocols surrounding the event, which started.
You said they missed Damascus then.
Trump, who was due to play David Gilbert in his opening match in Milton Keynes, was replaced by Joe Perry. World number 14, Lisowski's place was then taken by Gary Wilson, who faced namesake Kyron Wilson. Ironically, both replacements lost 6-2 in the first round. Now, a bit on golf before we go on to football. Now, the Trump National Tournament in Bedminster, New Jersey, has been stripped of the US PGA Championship in 2022, as its organisers felt using the course as host would be detrimental in the wake of last week's events in Washington. The Professional Golfers Association of America voted to terminate the agreement last Sunday for the course to hold the competition. Bedminster Golf Course, which is owned by Donald Trump, hosted the Women's US Open in 2017 and was due to become the first Trump-owned course to host a men's major. It is one of 17 golf courses around the world owned by Trump.
Yeah, he owns one in Scotland, doesn't he?
Yeah, they've said that Turnberry will not be considered while ever he owns it. They announced it yesterday.
Right.
Sorry, for the British Open.
Of course, his favourite hobby is litigation, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Does he own
Did you read
Eagles?
what Jimmy Cranky said about him?
No.
Jimmy Cranky said he couldn't come across and play golf. It wasn't essential. Good for her. She didn't say many things right, but that was right.
Yeah.
It's a weird world where you start to increasingly agree with Sturgeon.
Politicians.
No, Sturgeon. And I keep going, yeah, that's good. Yeah. There's something going wrong.
Chris, she's a very, very clever woman. She
Very
can
clever.
read the situation. It's like some of your best footballers. They technically not be, but if they can read the game, they're a step ahead, and she is a step ahead. Whatever you
I've got
think
no
of her
respect for
politics.
her.
No, I agree with it. I agree with it. Yeah.
He's a one-trick pony.
Yes, but
Not very
she's
good at
riding
that.
it very well, Paul.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
But it's been made easier for her by what's happening in London, isn't it?
Yeah, they're falling at the fences. Yeah.
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 Can we keep this analogy going, Paul? Do you think?
I'm not clever enough, but you might.
Right, come on, Lol. Let's get down to the football.
We're on to football
Take
now.
your time, Lol. You're going too fast.
But before we come on to the lighter part of football, some sad news. Manchester City legend Colin Bell has died, aged 74, after a short illness. A miner's son from Hesleden in County Durham, his first club was Horden Colliery Welfare FC before he signed for Bury as a professional in 1963. He was soon made captain and made a total of 82 league appearances for Bury, scoring 25 goals. In 1966, he moved to Manchester City, who were managed at the time by Joe Mercer. The fee was £45,000. Bell helped City finish first in the second division at the end of the 1965-66 season to gain promotion to the first division. He played for City until 1979, in which time he scored 117 league goals in 394 appearances. In November 1975, at the age of 29, Bell suffered a horrendous injury to his right knee in a game against Manchester United at Main Road when he was tackled by Martin Buchan. He was out of the game for over 2 years because of this injury, before returning to action in a 4-0 victory against Newcastle on Boxing Day in 1977, when he came on as substitute at half-time to a rapturous applause. However, he was not the same player he was before the injury, and he left City the following season. Bell tried to resurrect his career in 1980 in the North American Soccer League with San Jose Earthquakes, where he teamed up with George Best. but only played 5 games for them before retiring from football altogether. He then returned to Manchester City, where he became youth and reserve team coach, as well as one of its club ambassadors. He was awarded an MBE in 2004 for services to the community. He was diagnosed with bowel cancer in 2005. He was operated on within 3 weeks of the diagnosis, which saved his life. He played 48 times for England, scoring 9 goals between 1968 and 1975. Any comments about Colin Bell, anybody?
Fine player.
Nice
Terrific player.
Did you see the news clip on the National News where it showed him scoring at Bramall Lane in front of the cop?
No.
When it talked about him dying, it showed a few clips of some of his better goals, and one was a kick. I think it was that 3-3 draw when we had that 3-3 draw in the first division.
Yeah.
Noel?
Yes, go on.
Noel, you mentioned Joe Mercer there.
Yep.
Who I always thought was quite a character. And he had this famous catchphrase. Can you remember it?
Go on.
Go on.
Take no prisoners. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
We're playing so-and-so next week. They take no prisoners.
Right.
Great man, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Cardiff City have announced that defender Sal Bamba is being treated for cancer. The 35-year-old Ivory Coast international has been diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma and is currently undergoing chemotherapy. Bamba was signed by Cardiff in October 2016 under former manager Neil Warnock. The Tottenham ended Marines' great FA Cup run with a 5-0 away win on Merseyside. It was the biggest gulf in league places in the history of the competition when Marine, who play in the Northern Premier League Division 1 North West, met Spurs of the Premier League, who are 161 places above them. But now then, on to local football. It was a good weekend for the South Yorkshire clubs in the Cup. The highlight being Crawley beating Dirty Leeds 3-0. Doncaster had a good 1-0 away win at Blackburn. Barnsley won 2-0 at home to Tranmere, while Rotherham gave a very good account of themselves as they lost 2-1 away to Everton after extra time. The first time both Sheffield clubs have won on the same day this season. They also had a good 2-0 win at West Exeter, and the Blades 3-2 at Bristol Rovers. The draw for rounds 4 and 5 were made last night, with the Blades having drawn Plymouth at home and the Owls a difficult away match to Everton in the next round. Any comments about the Cup? Yeah.
I blame Crouchy for that, because when there were 2 balls left, he picked our ball up and dropped it. Otherwise, we'd have been at home.
We did, didn't he?
Yeah.
It did remain. It did manage to keep on his feet.
United haven't got a bad draw in both rounds, really.
On paper, they should get through to the 6th round, shouldn't they? On paper.
United have got as good a draw as they could have wished for, really.
Yeah.
So,
we've got Man U.
Who have you got after Plymouth, Keith?
Millwall, Bristol City.
Yeah, at home.
At home. Very, very, very lucky. You look to come back.
You've got Spurs if you.
We've got Spurs.
Yeah, if we beat Everton, we've got Spurs.
If you beat Everton, you've got Spurs or Wickham.
Is that away?
At home. At home.
At home.
No, it's home.
It's home.
Yeah.
Home or away, it don't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't.
But going back to that. Going back
anyway,
to that
I can't see Wednesday getting past Everton anyway.
You never know.
Unless Ancelotti's very kind and plays his youth team.
Yeah.
That's true, he didn't. Yeah.
He won't.
Going back to that Crawley game, that first goal that Crawley got against Leeds was brilliant. One of the best I've seen for a long time.
Yeah. Superb goal.
Yep.
That first goal that Marine nearly got against Joe Hart.
In the bar.
I don't know what he was doing, Hart. He just
No.
going on.
He took his hand down, didn't he?
Yeah. If only he'd have hit him on back of head and gone in.
Yeah.
Off the bar, onto the back of his head and in. That'd have been good.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen, eh?
Yeah. Is that it then, Lol?
I keep looking at that Leeds side and keep thinking. So I keep looking at that Leeds side and wondering why everybody thinks Bielsa's such a great manager. I mean, they were poor. They were poor against the defence is practically non-existent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
When they're good, they're very good. When they're bad, they're awful.
Yeah. Chris, you've got 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Cricket, the last test in Australia versus India. Anyone come across the Smith incident yet?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
Chris.
Unbelievable.
And the
Tell
Tim
us
Paine
about
incident.
Chris. Tell us about it when we come back. All right.
Okay.
So see you in a few minutes.
Okay.
Right.